Hello everyone, Sheek here with another Transformers review, and today I will be reviewing Transformers Beast Wars Megatron by Kenner and Hasbro. Here he is in the box with lovely artwork, more of the action figure rather than the character, because as you can see his face doesn't quite actually represent the cartoon. Sprays water cannon blast, that sounds fun. And then on the side we got a big beastly eye, his robot mode, he is ultra class. And he is strength 10, intelligence 9, speed 10, firepower 10. Well, in this case, since Optimus Primal only has 10 for intelligence and 10 for everything else. I mean, realistically, he should have already defeated Megatron. So anyway, secret weapon locations: hip launched missiles, pincher in tail, which also serves as his hand, I guess, at least for this version of the toy. Megatron function: Predacon Commander, duplicating dinosaur DNA stolen from human research labs. I don't think they researched the show well enough. The evil leader Megatron has re-engineered his body structure and equipped it with the fearsome high-tech firepower. And then this same as last time up there. Same thing as on the other side. Bottom, barcodes, words, things. Hooray for barcodes and things. And we'll go ahead and get him opened up. So here we have Beast Wars Megatron out of the packaging, and he comes with two hip gun missile accessories, which go in these hip guns right there. And as you can see, his right leg feels a little bit loose, so it's a little bit weaker than obviously his left leg, so it causes him to just list over to the side like that. So yeah, he's not exactly wanting to hold together. There we are. Anyway, now we got him standing back up. I guess we'll go ahead and get the comparison out of the way. For comparison, here we have him next to Kingdom Megatron. The head, I do believe, is meant to be a little more cartoon accurate, and if I remember right, a while back when I did a review of him, I added on those pupils to his eyes just to make him look a little more realistic, at least in Dino mode. And of course, his limbs seem to be a little bit sturdier. He does look more like an actual T-Rex, I guess. They both look pretty good in their T-Rex modes, not gonna lie about that. They both actually look pretty good. The main complaint that I have about him, although he is more articulated, his tail does move around a bit more, is just all the soft rubber plastic. I mentioned this in the review of him that I did initially a while back, is that it's very soft, it deforms, and it just doesn't really want to, completely sit right. As you can see, everything's just opening up, whereas the original Beast Wars Megatron, as you can see, is just solid plastic rather than plastic panels covered with the softer plastic that tends to deform. But one of the really fun things about him, though, and also, you can pull out the hip guns in Dino mode as well as robot mode, and you just load those up, and I guess they don't shoot very far. At least this one actually works, unlike Optimus Primal, where it's just like they won't go into his wrist cannon or hand cannon, and they'll slide into the shoulder launcher, but they won't actually clip into place. There we are. Okay, I guess it can get some air if it's angled completely straight across. Okay, there we are. Okay, he's standing, sort of, with his hip hanging down. Alright, and for the last gimmick that can also be used in robot mode, both of these gimmicks can both be used in robot mode, but he has a squirt gun. Yeah, I think you saw it. Yep, squirt, squirt. Instead of breathing fire, he's a water-breathing dinosaur. Got myself. Okay. It actually holds more water than I was expecting, or at least more shots than I was expecting. Because I guess it doesn't shoot very much at a time, just very at a high velocity. But to refill it, or initially fill it, you just want to open up his mouth, pull out his throat, And as you can see, this is a little squirt gun. You just squirt it by, get squirted by getting pushed in. Very simple mechanism, but it's pretty cool. And then to refill it, you just pull this up right here and fill the little reservoir inside, and then you just plug it back up and then just reinstall it into his throat. I think it's cool that the water gun itself is his tongue. The reservoir is like his throat. It's pretty neat. I really like it. It's actually really cool. Okay, let's get him transformed, shall we? So the first thing you're going to want to do is to split his sides open like this. Then you want to open this right here to get his arm out of the way, like that. Of course, you might want to take care with the spring load component, or the gears and all that in there. Flip up his head. Should click into place. Extend his legs down. And then you're going to want to kind of, it's a little bit tricky, but you want to pull that up like that. And then you want to get everything out of the way. Okay, a little easier the second time. But then you get everything situated. You might want to move the dial legs out of the way like that. Flip this cover back. And then you just want to tab these into these slots right here. Just get them tabbed in. There we are. Tabbed in like that. Get these out of the way. Then position his hip guns however you think they'll look best. Rotate his feet around, or legs around. Flip out his heels, his high heel spurs, whatever you want to call them. Then rotate his arm down. Shoulders right here. And then you should be able to get, okay, and one last thing. You also just want to kind of extend this arm down and position it however you think looks best. And then as far as like what this does, if you can get to, problem is getting it to work properly, because every time you transform it seems like it kind of messes up the alignment, and then you have to kind of reset it, and there it goes. Kind of, okay, so you want to have it fully extended, and then it's supposed to, as you can see, it's but it's supposed to be like a claw, like a pincer attack, like, yeah, sort of like that. Of course, it's it just doesn't work the best. It might be me. It really might be me. I don't know, but it does seem a little bit problematic. So if you have it hanging like that, it is kind of a long limb. So if you want to, you can, I guess, do it something like this, so it's kind of out of the way or not as hanging far down. But it could be a little better, I suppose. Or you can maybe get it to kind of just close up a little bit. But then, it still doesn't look that great. Anyway, you can still use the squirt gun function in robot mode, obviously. These you can rotate, get them to line up where you want to, and then you can just fire from the hip quite literally. And of course, we haven't revealed Megatron's noggin. This is just his mask. I mean, it looks kind of cool. It looks a little like there's some fractures in it. It does like cracks from damage. It looks cool, but it'd be nice if they had painted it. Just like with his chest, the teeth could have been done in a silver. Just more details. I mean, there is a decent amount of molded in details, but there's just not a whole lot of color to it. And then to reveal Megatron's face, the one that we know, or at least close to the one that we know, you just flip open his mask, and then it looks like he has kind of some bat wings. Makes you think a little bit of Robots in Disguise Megatron, not the new one, the old one. I mean, I'm thinking about just removing these entirely, just so it's Megatron's head, rather than having these wing-like things on him. Sort of like what I might do with Optimus Primal. So yeah, that's about it for his robot mode. There we are. Let's set him off to the side. And for comparison, here we have Kingdom Megatron in his robot mode. And he is definitely more faithful to the show. You don't have to worry about this dragging onto the floor. And he does have his hand, which he always had this free hand in the show. He used it to like brush the teeth on his T-Rex head. The only downside of this is that you can't remove the tail, just so you have the arm. I'm sure there might be a third-party thing where they figured out a way to remove it and make it detachable. But he does have the hand there, so that is a thing he does have. He still has the hip guns. They're just much smaller, and they don't take up most of his range of motion. Speaking of range of motion, I need to go over his articulation real quick. But first, let's just go ahead and set them both back, and let's go ahead and bring in the monkeys. So here we have the Beast Wars Optimus Primal and the Kingdom Optimus Primal. If you want to see more about them, or at least specifically the original Optimus Primal, you can look at my review from last week. But yeah, you can see how they compare. Kingdom Optimus Primal seems more in better scale with Megatron, because of course a T-Rex is quite a bit larger than a gorilla. But as far as being robot to robot combat, if you're wanting same size robots or you don't care about scale, then these two duking it out shouldn't be as big of a deal as having these two duke it out. As far as like playability, as in like fun gimmicks, things like that, these two definitely better for that. If you're wanting just all the gizmos and all that and trying to have well, fun with gimmicks, which I admit, the squirt gun's really fun. I like that. The spinning effect, if it worked a little bit better, I would appreciate it a lot more. But for display value and posing, these two definitely take the cake. I forgot to do with the articulation. The head on Megatron is on a ball joint. He does look up. He can look up relatively decent amount. You can look down more than most, and his head can do a full 360, although these can make it a little bit difficult to do so. And if you close this up, he does get a decent amount of wiggly waggly motion. His arms can do a full 360. You can go out that far on this side. And then of course this is just his claw arm, which if you can get this thing to work right, it does do pinching, like I showed earlier. This side, obviously, is going to have a little bit different articulation, ranges of motion, but it does have a fairly decent amount that you can get. And of course, bicep swivel. Hip guns, if you want to count that as articulation, because those can rotate around. Hip rotation, although everything kind of gets in the way. But he does have a little bit of hip rotation, but like I said, everything's in the way. But other than that, he does have articulation there. Legs can go forward that far, back about that far before everything gets in the way again, and then you have about 90 degree bend at the knees. Yeah, there we are. That you can see that a little bit better. And then you do have downward bend of the toe. Not sure why it has downward bend but not the upward bend, but I mean, it's something. It's there that you can use. And of course, you can move that back further. Although I'm not sure exactly why you do that, because that just means that less stability in his robot mode. So yeah, that pretty much concludes my review of Transformers Beast Wars Megatron. If you like this review and you'd like to see more, please click that like and subscribe button to see more. Until next time, have a good one, everyone.